In this lesson, we're going to take a look at the SUMIFS formula. The SUMIFS formula is used to add the numbers together which apply multiple criteria when met. This is different from the SUMIF formula, which only looks at one condition. So the SUMIFS, plural, takes into consideration multiple criteria when summing a particular range of cells. Let's take a look at the formula in a greater amount of detail here. The formula is comprised of a few components. The formula syntax includes a sum range, and this is the range of cells which contains the numerical values that you want to add together. The next part of the formula is the criteria range 1, and the criteria range 1 coincides with the criteria 1. The criteria range 1 is the range that is tested using criteria 1. Criteria range 1 and criteria 1 are considered a pair. Once the items in the range are found, their corresponding values are added together in the sum range. Similarly, you can add more than one criteria in the SUMIFS formula. So you can have criteria range 2, and you can pair that with a criteria 2. Let's take a look at an example of how this works. In our example, the general manager of a second-hand car dealership wants to know how much sales were made during the year for certain cars within certain branch locations. The financial analyst generates a sales journal below containing the raw data of car sales with product code, product descriptions, and branch dealer locations. The financial analyst uses the SUMIFS formula to summarize the revenue by branch and product description for the general manager. So as you can see, below we have the raw data, which is a table containing the date, product code, product description, branch location, and sales revenue for the company for the year. Using this data, we want to run a SUMIFS formula to calculate the sum of the data within column G if it meets the criteria that we're looking for. Now, the criteria that we're looking for is in cells C26 through D29. So for instance, we want to know the sales for Alabama and sedans. We also want to know the sales for California for sport utility vehicles. We want to know Florida sales for hatchbacks, and we want to know Washington sales for convertibles. We can determine this by using the SUMIFS formula for each. Before we jump into the formula, let's take a look at cells C38 through C42, which describe how we're going to set the formula. The sum range is the sales revenue in column G. The criteria range 1 is the formula used for determining the data range of the specific branch location, so that'll be column F. The criteria 1 will be whatever branch location we're looking for, and in column D, up in row 26 through 29, we can see which products we're looking for. And in column C26 through C29, we can see which branch location we're looking for. So the branch location coincides with criteria 1, and the criteria 2 is the product description. So let's take a look at how the formula works in cell E26. If I open up cell E26, I can see that the formula is comprised of a sum range, a criteria 1 range, a criteria 1, a criteria 2 range, and a criteria 2. The sum range is the sum of cells G47 through G106, which is the entire data table for column G, which is the sales revenue. Next, we have the criteria 1 range, which is the branch location in our data table. Criteria 1 that needs to be met in order for us to sum the values in column G is cell C26, which is Alabama. So we want to look up Alabama in the branch location. And if that's true, then we want to return the sum of column G. Additionally, criteria 2 needs to be met. Criteria 2 range is the product description, which is column E in the data table. The criteria 2 in this instance is the sedan, and the sedan therefore needs to be found within column E in order for the values in column G to be summed. Keep in mind that both of these conditions need to be met in order for the values in column G to be added together. If I hit enter, I can see that the total dollar amount of sales that the company achieved based on these two conditions is $41,651. If we drag that formula down, we can see that there was $20,500 of California sales where SUVs were sold, and in Florida, $60,586 worth of hatchbacks were sold, and finally in Washington, $5,500 worth of convertibles were sold. Keep in mind that the SUMIFS formula doesn't need to be restricted to only two conditions. You can have multiple conditions or criteria which exceed 2 items. In fact, you can have 3 items, 4 items, and so on, as long as that data is contained within your data table. In this case, we could have extended it further to include date or product code, but in our example, we were only looking for criteria that met branch location and product description. Hey guys, thanks for watching this lesson. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, I'd really appreciate a like and subscribe from you. And if you want to learn more about Microsoft Excel, check out these videos above. And don't forget to check out our website, commercecurve.com, where we have lots of in-depth finance and accounting courses available with full training workbooks. All of our courses come with complete workbooks of lessons, examples, pre-built financial models, and training video. Hope to see you there.